Almost exactly 1 year ago, I decided I was going to try to build a Lego Acclamator mock. And I'd say it went pretty well. But the thing is, it wasn't very accurate. I really did like it, but it wasn't the most accurate. And I saw a lot of people point out that it just wasn't pointy enough. So I took that to heart and I decided to rebuild it better than ever. So this is version 2 of my Acclamator. It's almost been exactly a year since the last time I made this. So this is, version 2 of my custom Acclamator. And this time, I got it a lot more accurate. I got the front a little more pointier, and I also got the angles like here, like definitely a lot steeper than the last one. It does make it smaller, but it makes it look more accurate and a little bit just kind of cooler. At least that's what I think. Now to like an in-depth look at this. For the front, there are some pretty big gaps, but I don't really want to fill those in right now, so I think it's fine. But I just have a little bit of detail right there. And then coming up here, we have this kind of top plate area with a bunch of wedges there connected all in like a kind of like stepping pattern with a bunch of these pieces here were actually all wedges as well. They're like pushed in so this can lay on that all very nicely. And all of these are connected to the red stripe down the middle, which is connected right there by a hinged piece that you can see right there. Along the sides, I used a bunch of Technic Brits for kind of the frame of the Acclamator, much like the Star Destroyers, and then I just put some of those like blue snot pieces just to, you know, give it a more studded look rather than the holes that would have normally been there for the entire thing. So I do think that makes it look a lot better. Moving to more of the top area, this is just kind of held not very strongly, but hey, it's better than the last version I had. But we have the bridge. Again, there's only the one like control center because it is an acclamator. And I probably should cover those snot bricks up with something because I just forgot that those were there until this very moment. So yeah. But we have kind of like the bay area that you can see in acclamators. I do wish that these were a little bit lower because I have like a bunch of slope pieces right here to make it more screen accurate, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter. It still achieves that like box shape that the acclamator has. And around the sides, this is replicated on both sides. We have these red stripes. There is one less red stripe than normal, but I didn't want to be touching like the bay of the ship. I might change that later, but I don't really have to. But these are connected to this plate right here and the back right here, and they're all connected together. So this is a little stronger than this up here. Moving around to the back of the ship, we have these holes that probably need to be covered up. And just you can see a bunch of the stuff that I used to give it a little more bulk to it rather than it just being pretty flat and a lot like gappy. Like it has more, like my last one had a lot more gaps, and I think this just does a better job of covering up those gaps. But over here we have the two engines on either side, and we have this kind of like back fin area that connects down to like the hull of the ship where all the clones can come out and fight. I wouldn't actually be able to do this on my last model, but I can actually hold it like this without either side breaking because it's a lot more sturdy and strong. But just to give you a good look on the hull of the ship, it is like almost the exact same design that I used on the previous version. But hey, it's a little bit different, and if it works, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then you can see like the wedges and all like the plates that I used to create the underside of the acclamator. And we have two clear stand pieces to hold it up so the bow of the ship, I think that's called the bow of the ship, doesn't like bend down. But kind of a fun fact for this, I actually, when I broke the old version, I found one of these pieces that I was missing, like this one right here. Oh no, not that one. That one right here. So now the gate can open and close without fault because it was here. Also, I used a lot less pieces than the last model, so I was able to save on like plates and other things that I can use for future mocks. So we'll definitely have a lot more pieces and like there, like other things that I would need to do for other mocks, so that's pretty cool. And now, since I wasn't able to do it on the previous version, I'm going to do a swooshability test for this. And the last one was a lot more fragile, so I couldn't hold it like as well. But this one I can swoosh without really any of the plates coming off, and I can even hold it like this, which I wasn't able to do, or else it would just crumble. So this is probably the best way to swoosh my Acclamator model. You can even turn it upside down. You can do a lot with it, and you can also hold it in like a bunch of different ways. You can hold it from the bottom, and just, you can hold this a lot of different ways, and I'm very proud that I was able to make it sturdier and more swooshable. And this is it compared to some other sets that I have in my collection. I did this with the last model, so I thought it'd be fun to do it with this model, and just to show kind of the scale. It definitely is smaller, but it still dwarfs a lot of my other custom projects like this X-Wing and the Separatist Transport, but it's not quite as big as the Sail Barge, but it's a UCS set. Give me a break. Thank you for watching this showcase of my favorite thing that I've ever done, and I appreciate everyone who has watched me over this past year, and I just am very happy that I got to show you my best custom project that I've ever done. Thank you for watching.